right now. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Not like actually, but like I feel like I'm, what's it called? I'm sabotaging myself and like subconsciously sabotaging myself because it's been so hard for me to just rest. I feel like I can't relax, like, and I don't know why. I just feel like I haven't been able to rest or relax for the past week or so. And maybe I'm just overreacting. I feel like I'm gonna have a very lazy weekend this weekend. Like, I'm not going to leave my house probably unless absolutely necessary, because this week has drained me, and I just really feel like I need to get like my sleep schedule in check, because my biggest problem is that I go to bed too late and then have to wake up early. I don't even wake up that early. Like, I don't have to be at work till 9, but I set my alarm at 7:45 a.m. Really, I probably should set my alarm at 7:30, but I try to leave by 8:30 for work every day, so I get to work early, and I'm always on time, like early to my job. I've only really been late once, and it was because of something that was outside my control. I was stuck in traffic because they shut down a lane that I needed to get to my job, or a road, street I needed to get to my job, and that's the one time I was late to work, and it was not even in my control, because it took me like 10 minutes to make a right turn. So in all honesty, I feel like I've been a pretty good employee at my job. I've gotten a lot of compliments from, supervisors telling me like I'm a really good RBT and I'm really good at my job. But I feel like I still feel very overwhelmed with like just like my future in general. It's like, even though I'm trying so hard to save, I mentioned how like the last couple of weeks, basically like the beginning of January or the beginning of this year, has already been kind of rough when it comes to me getting hours at my job. So the last 2 weeks, I only got about 12 hours of work, which is not enjoyable. And it's like, I was talking to some of my coworkers about it. It's like, on paper, I should be making a decent amount of money based off of my hourly, but because my job doesn't actually offer full-time 40 hours, it's like I still feel like I'm behind. And so my mom keeps telling me like, oh, you need to get a better job. And it's just frustrating for me, because it feels like every time I do get a job, I'm being told, I don't like how this car behind me like got over. I don't like how some people drive. Anyways, basically my mom keeps saying like, oh, you just need a better, oh my gosh, what the heck? Someone just got in an accident over here. But I'm trying to figure out, was someone someone turned down the wrong side of the highway, it looks like. Lord, I hope they called the police. Anyways, there's just been so much, I feel like, on my mind, and I still feel so unsure about a lot of just what I'm doing, and feel like I don't know what the right thing to do is anymore. And I mentioned how it's like, do I just get a second job? Do I get a completely new job? It just feels very frustrating, because I feel like I'm tired of like starting over. I'm tired of just moving or trying to get a better job. Like, that's what I've been doing for the past 8+ years now. It's like I always feel like, oh, I have to look for a better job. It's like, why do I feel like I'm stuck in this same cycle of, you know, it's like the job I have is just never good enough. And I don't know, it's like I try not to let myself get overwhelmed by like all of the things happening in the world. Like, everything's way more expensive now. It's like, it's almost like I don't understand how people are surviving, but at the same time, it's like I know people who are able to afford, you know, their own places. But it's like my options are what? I go back to school, change my field. It's like basically the only solution people will give you is you just have to get a better job. That's always the solution people give about things. But it's like, that's not always I mean, I guess that's the only thing people know to tell other people. It's like, oh, if you're working in a position and you're not making enough, you're just supposed to find something better. And that's the advice you're constantly given pretty much across the board. Get a second job. It's always like, the focus is always like, you need to just be making more money. And I feel like if it was that easy for people to make more money, no one would be in poverty, in a sense. Like, there's clearly other things that stop people from getting, or things, there's other barriers, I guess, to that than just, you know. And I'm not someone who likes to make excuses for everything. I'm more so just like, objectively speaking, if it's so easy to just get a better paying job, everyone would have a better paying job. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into getting in a better financial position. And it's like, you know, education is a part of that. And I talk about how like my degree has not really helped me get any of the jobs I've had for the past when did I graduate from college? Almost 10 years ago, but it's been 7 years, a little over 7 years. So for the past 7 years, none of the jobs I've had required a degree. And almost part of it is like, I know on like other videos I've made, people have left like suggestions of the jobs I need to apply for, jobs I should look into. Most of the time it's things that would require me to go back to school, which I've talked about this before too. I don't want to waste time, money, and energy going to school to get a degree in something solely for the purpose of potentially finding a job that makes more money. You know, it's like putting myself into more debt. I get you can get scholarships and stuff, but it's like, oh, do something that's quick to make money. It's like everyone has there's always like, I don't want to say they're all get rich quick schemes or anything like that. And I get the premise of a lot of them. It's just like, you know, if you want to make more money, just put yourself in a field where more money is more, you're gonna make more money, essentially. But unfortunately, I think that's not always the best solution for everyone. For me, it's like I don't really have the time. I don't have the ability to focus on going back to school right now, at least. I think it's like not the right solution for me personally, because I hated school. Like, even in my undergrad, I was tired of school. I feel like I didn't really know what I want to do, and I feel like I wasted time going back to school when I went to cosmetology school and wasted like a year, and I'm not even working in that field. So I just don't want to invest more money and time and energy into working in a career field that I don't feel passionate about, or it's not something I'm really actually interested in. It's like, I talked about that too. It's just like, it feels like people just tell you to focus on making money and just always focus on whatever makes you the most money is the right thing to do, essentially. And I just don't really agree with that, or think that's the best solution to every problem. But the thing is, it's like, I actually like my job for the most part. Yes, at the beginning of this year I talked about how I was getting kind of tired of my job, and maybe that also could be a part of it. It's like, I feel like I'm just hitting a wall as far as like, every time I think I'm doing the right thing, or this job that's supposed to be the solution, that's supposed to help me save, that's supposed to help me be able to get back on my own 2 feet, it just seems like it never actually pans out for me. And it's like, it's making me feel insane, because it's like, every time I do the thing people tell you, try to get a better paying job. This job I currently have is the highest paying job I've had in my life, and I feel like it's still not enough, because I need a job, I don't get the hours. And so it's just like, I still either need to get another job or find a better job. And it just feels like I'm going in circles. Like, it feels like I'm on this hamster wheel of feeling like stuck. Like, how do I freaking get out of this freaking cycle? It's like, I know something has to change, obviously. It's just not knowing what needs to change. Like, I know something has to change in order for me to get out of this cycle. I'm just so tired of feeling like I constantly have to change, like, my career. My mom now is like, oh, well, you should try to be a special ed teacher. I don't know why I'm crying. I think it's a combination of being tired and being frustrated. And I'm laughing because I know that, like, that Selena Gomez meme of her crying on camera, and I have a lot of videos on my channel of me crying, but it's not like I'm intentionally crying on the camera. It's just like, I'll start filming and talking about things, and then I just happen to cry. Like, I'm not intentionally crying in my videos on the internet to get sympathy. It's like, I mostly cry out of frustration and anger. I think, like, I don't necessarily, like, I mean, you can cry because you're sad, but when I'm actually sad, I'm not trying to film myself crying when I'm sad. When I'm sad, I just want to be alone. I feel like when y'all see me crying, it's more frustration and anger. I cry when I'm frustrated. I cry when I'm angry, not because I'm sad or feeling sorry for myself. I feel like it's just a frustrating position because it's like I really just don't know what to do. I should say I don't know what the right thing to do is, what the best thing to do is. It feels like I want, like, it's like I wish I knew what the right thing to do in my situation is. And it's like every time I follow the advice of other people, I feel like I'm not being true to, I'm not making decisions for myself if I'm just listening to what other people tell me to do. And it's like following the advice of other people is I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's like what other people do and what works for them does not necessarily work for everyone else. But I do feel like I'm just hitting a wall. Like, I feel very unsuccessful in life in a lot of ways. And I don't think, like, success is necessarily just having a lot of money or having nice things. I feel like a really big part of it for me is just feeling confident in myself, feeling like I can stand on my own 2 feet, feeling like I've accomplished something, or I'm working to accomplish something even. And I know I'm often probably my worst critic in a lot of ways, because sometimes it's hard to see sometimes it's hard to just recognize your own strengths or accomplishments in life. Like, it's like, you know, when I used to tell people, like, this college I went to and got degrees, people would look at me and be like, why are you where you're at? Because, you know, I went to a college that's like a pretty good college, and, you know, I wouldn't say people necessarily I mean, I guess other people considered me smart in high school. Like, I made pretty good grades, but I never thought of myself as being like this super smart person. I just thought, like, oh, I made good grades because I studied before all my tests, but I never really thought of myself as being a particularly really smart person in school. But anyways, basically, when I tell people the school I went to, people will be like, oh, you went there, why aren't you, like, more successful? Basically, it's like what they want to say. And it's like, I feel like never line up to I never meet the expectations of where other people think I should be, right? I should be, it's like, if you're smart, or if you're considered smart, you should be doing better for yourself, right? This is not, and I also just want to clarify, this is not me making excuses for anything, because some people just love to look at my videos and be like, ugh, you just love to complain. This is not me complaining. This is me just literally venting about my frustrations with feeling like very unsure just about everything I'm doing. And it's like every time I think I'm getting ahead, I just find myself back in, like, the same situation. I just feel I feel very lost. Like, that's just the best way to see it. It's just like I feel very lost and unsure of a lot of things, and I'm so tired of feeling that way. Like, I want to feel confident in what I'm doing and feel like this is the right thing, or like this is where I'm supposed to be. So I say I feel like I've had a midlife crisis every year for the past 7 years. Like, I just feel like I have no idea what I'm doing, or if I never know if I'm doing the right thing. And when I talk to other people and they feel so like sure of themselves, and they're so, happy with where they are in life, and just, content with where they are. I've never, like, I can feel content for the moment, but I never feel like this is where I'm supposed to be, or this is like my calling or my purpose. And I guess for some people, maybe that's not something they care about. Like, they just are content or happy as long as, their bills are paid, and they, can have certain things. And when I say, like, for me, it's really not about money in the sense of, like, I don't care about having lots of money. I'm not, I don't know. That's just not something I care that much about. Do I want to be able to afford my bills? Do I want to be able to have my own place and not have to be stressed about money? Of course. Like, I feel like most people would love that, love to experience that. But like I said, it's mainly for me. These people must be resellers. I don't know. Y'all, I'm sorry. Getting distracted. Anyways, I don't even know what this whole video, what the purpose of it is. Really, it's just, I wish I was more certain that I'm doing the right thing, or I just wish I had more confidence in my like, I guess just more confidence with where I am in my life right now. And it's like, I really don't have a plan. And every time it's like, people ask me, what's your plan? What's your plan? I'm like, I don't have one. I don't really know. And I've shared this before in other videos. I feel like when God gave me a vision for my life when I was like 21, so this was like 8 years ago, it's like God showed me like what I would eventually end up doing, but I have no idea how I get there. Like, there wasn't a plan. And I remember how in another sermon, the pastor said, like, God will either show you the plan or where you end up, because he wants you to trust you with the other one. So if God shows you the path, you have to trust him for where you'll eventually end up. In my case, God showed me where I eventually end up, but didn't show me the path to get there. So I have to just trust the path that I'm on. And I feel like the path that I'm currently on does not feel like it's getting me anywhere. It doesn't feel like it's getting me anywhere. And it's just like, I'm still trying to figure out, like, how do I actually end up? It's like, that's the part I have to trust God about, I guess, is that eventually I end up doing this. Eventually. But I'm just like, am I doing the right thing? Is where I'm at right now? Like, how does where I'm at right now lead me to doing any of those things? There's like that uncertainty, right? And I guess that's just where like your faith, or I should say my faith, has to like come in, and where trusting God comes into the picture, because I either believe I will eventually do all the things God showed me I would do in the vision, and just have to trust I'm on the right path, or I just say, give up and just say, you know what? I mean, I don't know. It's like, I would rather trust that than try to, I don't know, figure everything out on my own. But it's just like, again, it's been very hard for me to feel confident in my journey, or in like just like in my career. I don't feel like I have a real plan for a lot of things. And I'm not saying like I'm incapable of doing anything about any of the things I'm talking about. Like, I just want to make that very clear. I honestly believe I can do anything I set my mind to do. If I wanted to become a nurse, I could go to school, get a degree, and become a nurse if that was something I really wanted to do. Like, there is nothing stopping me from actually accomplishing any other things. If I wanted to get my master's, I would go to school and get my master's. But it's more about me wanting to do the thing that is right for me, for my path, and for the journey to where I feel like God has called me to be. It's not about, I can't do something. I could do anything I set my mind to do. It's more like I want to feel like what I'm doing is actually what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Because every time I've tried to do something that I thought, I went to school, got a degree, because that's what I was told you, that's what you're supposed to do. Then after that, my mom said, oh, you should go to cosmetology school. You like hair and makeup, went to cosmetology school, graduated, not doing anything with that. Also, my degree, not doing anything with that either. So it's just like, I don't want to, it's like, I know I can do the things. I know I could go back to school. I know I could get a degree. I know I could do a lot of the things that people suggest for me to do in my comments. It's more so, I don't want to keep doing things just because they seem like a good option. I want to do something that is actually going to lead me to my purpose. And I do think, like, at the end of the day, nothing in my past is going to be wasted, because I do still believe everything happened for a reason. It's more so just not feeling certain about where I'm currently at is going to lead me to where I'm supposed to be. That's where I get my frustration from. And I hope that makes sense. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna say. Why am I crying about this? Like I said, I don't know. Just frustration, I guess. I'll get through it. It's not the end of the world. I'm still very blessed in a lot of ways. I have a lot to be grateful and thankful for. I just, like I said, sometimes you just gotta say, I really don't know. And that's okay. I don't know. I don't have all the answers to a lot of things. But I will be fine. Because I've always been fine. Every time I've been stressed out about something, you know what? I've always made it through. So that's all for now, I guess.